Good evening, I'm Ian Hanomansing. Tonight, another vaccine approval, how this one could change COVID-19 in this country.
Millions of doses are on the way.
But exactly when isn't completely clear. Also tonight, the push for vaccine priority to people living with disabilities.
All my life I've been fighting for her. You know, her voice.
China moves to shrink democracy in Hong Kong.
This is, I would say, a little bit overkill.
And celebrating the life of the great one's great one.
He really protected his son, which that's what dads are supposed to do.
From near and far, reaction to the passing of Walter Gretzky. This is The National. Vaccines are once again the big story in this country. Major news from Health Canada, the Prime Minister, and the country's most populous province. More doses are coming, and they're rolling out faster. The biggest headline, Health Canada has approved the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine for use here. Requiring only one shot, it could be a game changer, but only once it's here, and it's not clear exactly when that will be. Hannah Thibodeau takes us through what we do know.
It is the first day of the rest of my life.
At 90, Norma O'Connor is dreaming of what's next after getting her COVID-19 vaccine.
I am thrilled. I'm smiling from ear to ear, but you can't see it. I'm very relieved.
Today, news for those still waiting.
Your turn is coming. Millions of doses are on the way.
A fourth vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, was approved by Health Canada for adults 18 and older.
I would not hesitate to roll up my sleeve and get any of the vaccines that we have authorized by Health Canada.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is the only one that requires just one dose.
This vaccine, a single shot of this vaccine, provided 85% protection against severe disease and 100% protection against hospitalization and death. So for those outcomes, the efficacy was outstanding.
It's also easier to distribute because it can be stored in regular refrigerator temperatures. Canada has secured 10 million doses. Deliveries will start in the second quarter, and all the doses should be here by the end of September. It's also not clear where the vaccines will be coming from, a facility in the US or one in Europe. The government also announced that Pfizer will move up the delivery date for some shipments of its vaccine.
With these accelerated Pfizer deliveries, we'll now be getting 8 million doses by the end of March.
An additional 1.5 million doses will now arrive in March, and an extra 1 million in each of the following 2 months.
In all, Canada is on track to receive at least 36.5 million doses of vaccines by the end of June.
Accelerating Canada's vaccine rollout that has so far lagged behind dozens of other countries. Now, with increased supply, that could mean there are enough doses to give every adult a shot by Canada Day.
With more on this fourth vaccine approved, we're joined by infectious disease specialist Dr. Alex Wong, who's in Regina. And Dr. Wong, from a doctor's perspective, what's your view of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine?
Thanks, Ian. It's really exciting. There's a few things. The main thing is one dose. One dose takes away a lot of the logistics, a lot of the operational pieces required to actually get a second dose into people. It allows you to do things much quicker. It allows your people to just kind of focus on getting things done, and you don't need to bring people back either. So there's a lot of practical, operational, logistical advantages of having that one-dose vaccine, and then has been mentioned the fact that it's much more easily stored and at 2 to 8 degrees, allows you to basically just put it in a fridge and it stays stable. So you can put it in any setting you want, community pharmacy, mass vaccination sites, rural remotes, for example. So it's going to be a great option once it becomes available here in Canada. It doesn't look like it's going to be here for a month or so, though.
We have only about 20 seconds, but quickly, I'm wondering, are you facing much hesitancy from the patients you see in terms of getting a vaccine?
Not at all. Here in Saskatchewan, everyone is super excited to get vaccine. Supply, is tight right now, and demand is high. So we're really excited and doing a great job rolling vaccine out so far. We just need more of it.
All right, Dr. Wong, we'll hear more from you and a colleague later in the show. Thanks.
Thanks, Ian.
Ontario laid out its vaccine rollout plan today in much greater detail. As Helen Morrow explains, it prioritizes people based not only on age, but by medical condition, where they live, and how they work.
Joe Leventhal fought for Canada in the Second World War. Now all the 100-year-old wants is to see his grandkids.
I would love to be able to take them around and talk and have fun, but it's impossible with this situation.
He's desperate for his shot, so's his family.
His physician is part of a mobile unit that comes in to see him, and he asked her, you know, doctor, when am I getting a vaccine? And she had no answer for him, which we find very disheartening.
Today, the Ontario government tried to provide answers, outlining an accelerated vaccination timeline. Everyone over 80 should have their first dose by month's end, those over 60 by June. Younger adults are expected to receive their shot starting in July. But with the new vaccine approved and more doses promised, the head of Ontario's vaccine rollout has an even more ambitious goal.
I want to actually challenge us even further, and I want to say by the first day of summer, we want to have a first needle in the arms of every person in Ontario who is eligible.
Also set to receive shots starting next month, nearly 3 million Ontarians with certain medical conditions, such as kidney disease, developmental disabilities, diabetes, and cancer. That list also includes organ transplant recipients like Claudio Leyva.
I was so happy when I heard the news. It was a very emotional moment for us. We've been waiting for so long for this, right? I feel so relieved that it's the end is in sight.
Ontario is also prioritizing those living and working in congregate care, others who can't work from home, and hotspot communities.
There are still a couple of hurdles left, but the big grand scheme of things is that things are a lot better than they were. It's important for us to realize that because it's been a long haul. We need some hope.
Leventhal has high hopes for his 101st birthday this summer.
I'd like to have a party with a whole bunch of my family, be able to hug and kiss them again.
So, Ellen, a sigh of relief for some, but do we know exactly how the province is going to make this happen?
Well, Ian, the province says vaccines will be administered at several sites, including hospitals, pharmacies, mass vaccination sites, and through mobile clinics. But there are still a lot of details missing. And as we know, Ontario has faced criticism over the pace of its vaccination rollout so far. One other point, the online booking tool won't go live until March 15th. So we won't know how well it runs or not until then.
Okay, Ellen, thank you.
You're welcome.
And as we heard from Ellen, Ontario will soon expedite vaccinations for some people with disabilities, but some provinces aren't making them a priority. Kayla Hounsell shows us how that's playing out in Nova Scotia.
Amanda Robinson sticks pretty close to home these days. She lives with Down syndrome. Her mother worries so much.
I'm thinking, okay, we made it through another day. We made it through another day.
UK research shows people with Down syndrome who get COVID-19 are 10 times more likely to die from it.
Amanda going out puts her life at risk every day, and she doesn't even know it.
Some Canadian provinces are prioritizing people who live with various disabilities to varying degrees. Nova Scotia is not.
By doing that, we're telling people with disabilities they don't matter. And I think that that's just the wrong message to send.
We absolutely care.
At least here in Nova Scotia, you're the guy who gets to decide who gets this vaccine. Do you feel a way to that?
Certainly, a lot. Yeah, that we certainly understand lots of different groups. Thinking about their own risk or the risk within their group, and I understand that perspective. But
in fact, Nova Scotia's top doctor understands it more than most. His son lives with severe physical and intellectual disabilities. But Strang says the best way to immunize the most people as quickly as possible is to vaccinate by age, not by trying to figure out how to prioritize people with a range of conditions.
It'll be so much slower. That the best way for my son to be protected, because of his age, he's going to be one of the last, but he's going to be well protected because we've rapidly built herd immunity all around him.
Robinson says that doesn't give her peace of mind. She says the risks are just too high. The stats too stark.
All my life I've been fighting for her. I'm her voice. And I wonder when, I don't need to be her voice, that it just happens because it should.
She's not asking for her daughter to be first, just prioritized so she can feel safer sooner. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Halifax.
Ontario's last 3 regional stay-at-home orders are about to be lifted. Beginning Monday, Toronto and Peel region will move into the grey lockdown level. That allows for outdoor social gatherings of 10 people and for more retail stores to open. North Bay Parry Sound will be moving into the red control level, which means restaurants will be able to have limited indoor dining.
We are taking that balanced approach here. There's an opportunity for basically the majority of businesses to open and sectors to open. Religious activities can happen as well.
Manitoba also lifted a few of its restrictions today. The province is allowing most businesses to reopen within limits. Plus, all adult Manitobans could get their first vaccine by May 18th after officials decided to delay second doses. A CBC News investigation has found that across Canada, some prisoners come out of the correction system more ill than when they entered it. Some people may not be sympathetic, but all Canadians have the right to health care, including inmates. Jorge Barrera tells us about some who are suing the government for neglect.
Gary Gorell is dying.
It's like someone taking you into the middle of the ocean, and as you're going down the water, you're fighting to get up to the top to get air.
He says the federal prison health system put him in this state.
Why couldn't they have did the right job so I wouldn't be like this?
Gorell is maybe weeks, a month away from the end of his life, shackled by tubes in the Scarborough apartment. Gorell entered prison on his feet in 2018 to serve a 9-year sentence for his role as driver in a violent armed robbery. He had a chronic lung disease managed with medicine, but 2 years later, he rolled out of Beaver Creek in a wheelchair, dying, released by the federal parole board because of his failing health. Gorell has one fight left, suing the federal government.
I would characterize the treatment of my client as deplorable.
His statement of claim alleges he was denied oxygen and medication, not taken to appointments with specialists, mocked by health staff. He ended up on life support 7 times.
It wasn't like I was begging him for a narcotic. I was asking something for oxygen. I was asking him for inhalers.
The federal government denies all Gorell's allegations in its statement of defense.
And so I do think that that this has cost him his life.
Gorell isn't alone. Stories like his are found throughout the federal prison system, according to prisoners' rights advocates. Catherine Latimer's organization recently filed a case alleging federal prison health care violates the charter rights of those behind bars.
It's fundamentally a cultural problem within correctional services in Canada. They don't see them as fellow human beings.
Gorell won't live to see the end of any of these cases, or be there to watch his grandchildren, great-grandchildren grow up.
I want to cry because I can't hold them, can't touch them, and I'm stuck in this bed. This is my life now.
Waiting to take his last breath. Jorge Barrera, CBC News, Ottawa.
Brazil's president is telling people to stop whining, even though the country has had 2 record high days of COVID-19 deaths.
Chega de frescura e de mimimi.
The worst phase of the pandemic yet has pushed Brazil's hospital system to the brink. The WHO has expressed particular concern about a new variant in the Amazon region. Brazil has the world's 2nd highest COVID death toll, with more than 260,000 people who have died from the virus. The pandemic is not stopping Pope Francis from visiting Iraq. After a quiet year in Vatican City, he has resumed his travels. As Margaret Evans tells us, his highly symbolic trip is also a historic one.
A pilgrim visiting the cradle of civilization. That's how Pope Francis has described his visit to Iraq, the first ever by a pope. But an ordinary pilgrim he is not. And for Iraqi Christians clinging to the remnants of their faith's place in the country, it is of enormous significance. It's one of a kind, says Maggie Darius, and we all need this visit. All Iraqis do. And all honors are on display for the Pope. Baghdad eager to promote an image of Iraq beyond the bloodshed of its past. In his remarks to dignitaries, the Pope said he comes as a penitent, begging heaven's forgiveness for all the destruction Iraq has suffered. Tomorrow, another first, a meeting in Najaf with Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, the spiritual leader of Iraq's Shia Muslims. This shows we renounce sectarianism and violence, says Kadim Mehdi, and we welcome peace and love. Sectarian violence unleashed by the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003 sent many Christians fleeing, their numbers now a quarter of what they were then. More left after 2014, when the Islamic State swept parts of the north, clearing them of non-Arabs and non-Sunni Muslims. On Sunday, from the ruins of the churches of Mosul, the Pope will pray for all their victims. And he'll deliver an outdoor mass in the Kurdish city of Erbil, where many Christians took shelter. Some 10,000 people are expected, a reminder of one of the trip's discordant notes, the pontiff's decision to travel and draw crowds in the midst of a pandemic. Margaret Evans, CBC News, London.
The situation in Myanmar continues to worsen. Today, protesters were once again met with tear gas. A UN envoy has urged the Security Council to take action. Dozens of people have been killed in recent weeks, and hundreds, including journalists, have been detained. All of this following last month's military coup. China wants to tighten its grip on Hong Kong, and it's warning the world not to interfere. Beijing has been chipping away at Hong Kong's freedoms and cracking down on protesters. Now, as Sasha Petrusik tells us, it's planning to tip the voting rules in its own favor.
In the Great Hall of the People, it was China's top leaders taking a victory lap. President Xi Jinping cast as the savior of a country which, just a year ago, questioned his ability to manage the emerging COVID crisis. Now, Premier Li Keqiang vows the economy will grow at least 6% this year, a rate the West can only envy.
China has emerged stronger post-pandemic. In the domestic front, the government has enjoyed greater degree of legitimacy.
Still, amid the display today of China's rise, there are also signs of insecurity about its ability to control Hong Kong and its democratic movement. Just this week, almost 50 pro-democracy activists were arrested and spent days in a marathon court hearing, all for trying to run in Hong Kong's local elections. 4 were released on bail.
I'm very tired. I miss my family so much.
More than 40 remain in prison in a campaign by Beijing to intimidate opposition voices. China now plans to go further, revamping Hong Kong's political system to exclude anti-Beijing candidates as unpatriotic, even if they've proven popular in months of street demonstrations.
This is, I would say, a little bit overkill.
Man Nok teaches at the Chinese University of Hong Kong.
Actually, I think it is already very difficult for the opposition to find somebody to be willing to run, because it is a game that you are not allowed to win. And then by serving as a candidate, you put yourself in danger.
These days in Hong Kong, it's a risk even for political scientists to comment on Beijing's actions. Another sign of how determined China's leadership is to protect its advantage post-pandemic. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Toronto.
Prince Philip has returned to the hospital where he was first admitted a couple of weeks ago after undergoing a heart procedure earlier this week. The palace says the 99-year-old will continue his recovery there for a number of days. The news comes as the royal family braces for the broadcast this weekend of Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah Winfrey. In a new clip released today, the Duchess of Sussex says it was freeing to decide for themselves to have that conversation.
It's really liberating to be able to have the right and the privilege in some ways to be able to say yes, I'm
and to
I'm
say
ready
it
to
for
talk.
yourself.
To say it for
and
yourself.
not to have to consult with anybody.
Meghan has also accused the palace of, quote, perpetuating falsehoods about them. The couple quit their royal duties a year ago. He was Canada's most famous hockey dad. Today, people are remembering his legacy.
He really protected his son, which that's what dads are supposed to do.
Coming up, Walter Gretzky, his impact on the great one and the game. Plus, a student is excluded from a photo and takes action to see virtual change.
It just feels really good to be able to wear Butka and Pride.
And if you've been working at your job for years, this man probably has you beat.
When I started, we were using horses, saws and axes.
One company, 75 years. You heard that right. We're back in 2. Welcome back. Sad news from the world of Canadian sports tonight. Popular broadcaster and former Toronto Argonaut Chris Schultz has died of a heart attack.
Hey, are the Argos ever happy that guy's back in the fold? Chris Schultz.
Originally from Burlington, Ontario, Schultz signed as an offensive tackle for the Argos in 1986. After a couple of years with the NFL's Dallas Cowboys, he would go on to play 9 seasons in Toronto. A Grey Cup champion and 2-time CFL All-Star, Schultz later became a fixture on TSN and sports radio. Known as the Gentle Giant, Chris Schultz was just 61 years old. Canadians inside the hockey world and out continue to mark and react to the passing of Wayne Gretzky's father. Walter, seen by many as the ultimate hockey dad, died yesterday after a long fight with Parkinson's disease. Jamie Strachan looks at how he's being remembered.
Every one of the kids are an individual in their own right, and in our family, we never like to compare one against the other.
When your son is called the Great One, it would be easy to gloat. Walter Gretzky never did. Everyone knows about the famous backyard rink where his supremely gifted son learned the game.
Everything I am was because of him. I mean, it's as simple as that.
And as his son smashed records, he was a constant presence, quietly cheering, a model for hockey dads to emulate.
He really protected his son, which that's what dads are supposed to do.
We all know that the relationship between Wayne and Walter was incredible. I think something to be emulated, the way he nurtured Wayne.
He was always humble, continuing to work for Bell Canada long after his son became a star. And he loved his city, Brantford, Ontario, where the Gretzky name is everywhere. At one of his last public appearances, the city named a golf course after Walter.
He was a great mentor, a fantastic ambassador for Brantford. He often described Brantford as the center of the universe, and I think he meant it.
Charity was also important, lending his time and the Gretzky name to help raise millions. One of his favorites was the CNIB.
Walter was just always so gracious, always willing to have conversations, to share stories. And the kids for many, many years talked about that as being one of the highlights of their time.
He was always accessible, often inviting gawkers into the family home to show off memorabilia and taking thousands of pictures with fans in arenas across the country.
When he was at an arena waving at people, you could just see the people around just light up when Walter was announced that he was at the crowd.
Walter Gretzky, Canada's hockey dad, was 82. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, Canada now has approved 4 vaccines, but what does that change? Our doctors weigh in on where we're at and answer your questions about Canada's vaccine rollout. Plus,
the generation of waste is just tremendous in healthcare.
The solutions to a mountain of medical garbage growing larger amid the pandemic. That's next.
Canada has an agreement with Johnson & Johnson for 10 million doses of this Janssen vaccine between now and September.
Just days before the 1-year anniversary of the declaration of a global pandemic, as we mentioned earlier, Canada now has 4 vaccines approved to fight the coronavirus. Unlike the other 3, the Johnson & Johnson Janssen vaccine requires only 1 dose. It also doesn't need to be stored in freezers, but we don't yet know when we'll start getting these vaccines. So once we do, how significant will this vaccine be? And in particular, could it be the best bet for kids? We're joined now by infectious disease specialist Dr. Fatima Kakar, who is in Montreal, and Dr. Alex Wong, who is in Regina. And let's start with some questions from viewers. We heard from many people last week about their concerns on the efficacy or effectiveness of the AstraZeneca vaccine. We know Johnson & Johnson is similar, and so this question.
I'm just wondering how effective the new Johnson & Johnson vaccine is in comparison to the vaccines currently available.
So, Dr. Wong, can you clarify what we know at this point about the efficacy of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine?
Sure, Ian. So the overall sort of efficacy for the clinical trials for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine showed about a 66-67% overall efficacy in reducing the likelihood of acquiring COVID-19. And so that doesn't sound as good or as high as the two mRNA vaccines, which were in the 90 and 95% range, but there are a lot of other factors that come into play when we're comparing these different studies. And so in a nutshell, part of the Johnson & Johnson clinical trials were done in South Africa, where there was a large amount of circulating South African variant. At the same time, there's a lot of virus circulating altogether. And so as a result, we see sort of slightly decreased efficacy. But the key thing about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is what we also saw with the other vaccines, including the mRNA vaccines and AstraZeneca, is the fact that it significantly decreased the likelihood of severe illness by 85%, and no individual in the phase 3 clinical trial so far that has been reported that received the vaccine has either been hospitalized or has died. And so it does a great job in terms of reducing the efficacy, reducing the likelihood of those types of complications.
Yeah, that last sentence obviously hugely significant in terms of hospitalizations and deaths. We've received a lot of questions about the 4 vaccines approved for use here in Canada. Here's another question from a viewer.
What's the difference between the recently approved single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine versus the already approved 2-dose vaccine?
Now, Dr. Kakar, we touched on that a little bit in the introduction, but why don't you pick up on that?
It's a great question, and I know it can be very confusing. So essentially, the bottom line is all 4 of these vaccines have the final response, which is the same. Your body's going to need antibodies to what we call this spike protein, which is on the surface of the coronavirus. The difference is how we get your body to do it. So Pfizer and Moderna are what we call an mRNA vaccine, and mRNA is essentially a genetic code. So when you get it, your body recognizes it as a recipe to make these spike proteins. Whereas the AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson use what we call an adenovirus vector, which is a virus that's very common and causes a common cold, but it's been modified so it can't make you sick, and that it also carries the genetic code for this spike protein. So when your body sees this genetic code, it also makes this spike protein, and you make the antibodies for it. So the end result is the same. It's really just how we're getting your body to make these proteins.
So some people still have concerns about vaccines. Let's listen to this question.
Hi, so my question is, what are the side effects for this vaccine and how long do they last?
Dr. Wong?
So the side effects are very similar to the side effects that we see from the other COVID-19 vaccines: injection site tenderness, headaches, myalgias, which are muscle aches. They are transient. They can be managed with simple over-the-counter medications like Tylenol and ibuprofen as required. And the other important thing to note is that we haven't seen any severe actions like anaphylaxis or so forth yet in the clinical trial program. Overall, the side effects seem to be less of a concern with the J&J vaccine compared to the mRNA vaccines.
And Dr. Kakar, your specialty is pediatric infectious diseases. What do we know about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and kids?
So right now we don't have clinical trial data, but the good news is Health Canada has approved it for clinical trials here in Canada. And what's also amazing is essentially all 4 of the vaccines are in clinical trials in children. So Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, and now Johnson & Johnson. And the Pfizer one is actually finished enrolling 12 to 15-year-olds. So I'm very optimistic we're going to have trial results and potentially approvals later this summer.
We have less than 2 minutes. I'll ask each of you this. First of all, Dr. Wong, one of the things I love about talking to infectious disease specialists is you're independent doctors. You don't work for the government. You can give us your medical opinion. How do you feel about where we're at right now with these 4 vaccines, Dr. Wong?
I'm optimistic. I think it's great to have the options. It's great to have the choice. All of the vaccines are very efficacious, as we've talked about, and they're extremely efficacious in terms of reducing severe illness, hospitalizations, and deaths. So I would be happy if I were offered any of these vaccines, and really the best vaccine and the most effective vaccine is the one you're offered. So go and get your vaccine when you have the opportunity to do so.
Dr. Kakar?
Exactly. A lot has happened this week, but I think with all the data about one dose and all of the expanded arrival of vaccines, I'm very optimistic we're going to get ahead and we're not going to go into a major third wave as we've been quite worried about. So overall, I'm very optimistic at the end of this week.
Well, it's my first time having an opportunity to talk to the two of you, and it's really nice having you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian.
And we're preparing for a special live national town hall on the vaccine rollout next week, and we're looking for your questions. We'd like to hear what you want to know on the differences among the vaccines, on Canada's supply, or where we are in the vaccine queue. Send your questions and stories to covid@cbc.ca. Until most Canadians are vaccinated, face masks will be part of our lives. Trouble is, the millions of disposable masks we use in this country every day are adding to a growing environmental problem: medical waste. COVID PPE alone is creating tens of thousands of tons of garbage. But as Tashana Reid explains, efforts are underway to reduce it.
Engineers at McMaster University are testing how to recycle single-use masks. Masks are a necessity these days, but also a major source of a growing issue: PPE waste.
When they are disposed into the environment, they stay for long periods of time. If they degrade, they then end up producing microplastics.
Ravi Selvaganapathy is the director of a lab dedicated to making protective equipment more sustainable.
The way that we use PPEs now has dramatically changed.
We've got our masks, they're prepped for processing.
One of their projects takes discarded medical masks, melts them down, and chops them into small plastic pellets that can be used in building materials like concrete.
We're getting fibers out through the bottom of the extruder at the bottom.
They're not the only research group working to reduce PPE waste. A team in Quebec has created biodegradable masks made mostly of paper and is developing a medical-grade option next.
Spread the word out there.
Even before COVID-19, Toronto doctor Ali Abbas was on a mission to reduce medical waste.
The generation of waste is just tremendous in healthcare, and we have to do our best to mitigate the impact.
Dr. Abbas kickstarted a PVC recycling program, the first of its kind in North America, to collect items like oxygen masks and IV tubing and fluid bags.
We utilize close to about 400,000 fluid bags a year and about 70,000 oxygen delivery devices.
His program has now been adopted at 6 other Ontario hospitals, with plans to expand across Canada. That kind of green innovation needs to be a priority, says this healthcare sustainability expert.
So if we could decarbonize healthcare, it would be nearly equivalent to eliminating air travel. So we actually have a massive opportunity.
An opportunity to solve some of the problems highlighted by this pandemic. Tashana Reid, CBC News, Toronto.
3 trans women find refuge in Canada and bond over food.
It was using cuisine or cooking or a meal as a catalyst, as a connector of trans experiences.
Coming up, a cookbook that weaves stories of survival and resilience. Plus,
it's unbelievable the change. I can hardly remember how much it changed.
75 years of the job and still going. What keeps this man dedicated to the work? Stay with us. Welcome back. The social restrictions made necessary by the pandemic have been difficult for many Canadians, but some have struggled more than others with pain and isolation. Take, for example, people whose communities are small to begin with, like trans women of color. Tonight, 3 trans women from Toronto share how they're getting by and how they're looking ahead.
TPOC stands for Trans People of Color.
And it's a community base for trans people of color to feel safe.
It's my place. I can do volunteer job and helping people. We are trans women and we are proud. I born in Bangladesh. I was born in Bridgetown, Barbados, smaller Caribbean country where Rihanna is from.
My pronouns are she, her, they, them, and I'm from Colombia. Yeah.
Since I born, I feel like I'm a different. I'm not like other boys. I like doll. I like makeup. Even sometimes I steal my mother lipstick and I put myself, then my cousin find out, tell my mother, father, then they beating me terribly. I'm gonna be tearing up. Your home should be your safe spot. And for me, home was a nightmare as well because of my femininity.
I wasn't able to find a full-time job. Every time I will disclose I was trans, I will be like systematically, oppressed, and I wasn't feeling safe. So that way in Canada.
I came here a month after my birthday, so it would be April the 20th, 2011. Before pandemic, my life was so wonderful. Every week, meet new people, new friends, and I love to make new friends because I'm still new. Then suddenly, the COVID-19 is come, and after COVID-19, my life is sucked. I got like panic attack like 4 different times, just in that first 2 months of being on lockdown. And I take lots of sleeping tablets. Then I thought, no, I'm not going to give up easily. I'm a tough fighter. I think the isolation per se has been catastrophic. Any supply that you may need to reaffirm or to build your identity, when you don't have access to that, like it's just going to keep deteriorating your perception of life or yourself. I work in different programs. I work with youth. I work with with homeless people. I work in a shelter, right? So my way to help is honestly connecting. So I have the chicken before. I put it with cumin and coriander. This is chicken seasoning. This book is a combination of the girls and their background and their comfort food from their country, and when they were cooking it, their stories about how it made them feel when they were younger and they were in the kitchen with their grandparents and their mom before it went tragic. And just hearing that story bring me back to my grandmom and my mom, and be in the kitchen cooking and baking bread and that sort of stuff. So it was like nostalgia for me.
I bring in 2 big salmon.
Because the whole idea of the program, it was using cuisine or cooking or a meal as a catalyst, as a connector of trans experiences, right? I think that's something worldwide. And then at the same time, with the book, we talk about like sexual health, like work and other important items for everybody, or for trans people per se. Yeah.
Then I feel time I cook my own recipe. Everybody love it. When I go to kitchen, when I work, I feel wonderful. It means to me lot.
Coming up, a virtual class photo excludes a student.
When I originally saw that, I was pretty disappointed and sad.
How the software maker responded, but first. Is this what you think it is? The photo taken off the coast of the UK has been making the rounds on social media. Experts do confirm the ship is not hovering. It's just your eyes tricking your mind. The ship appears higher because of the relative air density causing some refraction, the light to bend, resulting in this optical illusion.
I'm Jamie Poisson. Join me for CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner. Every weekday, Front Burner takes you deep into the story shaping Canada and the world. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Scientists at NASA took the Mars rover for a spin on Thursday. You're looking at the front of Perseverance. You can see its very first tracks on the red planet.
It's just been amazing. We've never been able to explore Mars in this way.
This test drive lasted half an hour and didn't go far, just about 6 meters. Engineers say the rover has been doing an exceptional job so far. Perseverance will spend the next 2 years roaming Mars, searching for signs of ancient life. An Ontario high school student is being celebrated for speaking out and sparking change. When the 13-year-old had to create an avatar for online classes, he noticed the head covering that he wears as a Sikh wasn't among the options. Talia Ricci tells us what happened next.
I wanted to make an avatar to be a part of the class photo.
A fun way to capture a virtual classroom. But for Karanveer Singh Anand, something important was missing.
Since I'm Sikh, I wear a patka, and that's basically a cloth that you tie around your head to cover it. There really wasn't anything like that in the Pixton avatar editor. When I originally saw that, I was pretty disappointed and sad, but I just thought that there really wasn't anything I could do.
His teacher, Ms. Angel, also noticed his avatar didn't represent his Sikh culture.
He seemed kind of bummed out, and so I asked permission if we could email Pixton. Change can happen, and I think that's the biggest thing. That's what I hope that I can give my students. They actually asked if Karanveer could gather some images together that would best represent his culture.
We also used some of the reference images to choose some of the colors that we used as well. And so I think it turned out he was pretty darn happy about that. And we learned something. Sometimes we miss something or we don't know about it. And so our users come back to us with this information. And the second that they tell us about it, we try to get it in there just to make sure that everybody is represented.
Soon after, the grade 8 student was pleased to see these new options.
They actually added it in. And I was so happy and so glad.
Representation really matters. Particularly in this online environment.
If you could deliver a message to the student who did this, what would you say to him?
I'd say that we're very proud of what you did, and standing up and recognizing a problem is important, but then finding a solution is even more important.
How did it feel when you got to recreate your avatar and actually make it look like you?
I was really happy that, I could finally be who I am. It just feels really good when you can make a difference in the world, make your culture really bright, shine brightly, and to be able to wear patka and pride.
And share his class photo with pride, too. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, imagine loving a job so much you would do it for 75 years. Well, we have a man who did just that.
Monday gone by, I started my 75th year here.
His journey next. For 75 years, Downey Thompson has worked at the Elmsdale Lumber Company in Nova Scotia. He started when he was just 15 years old. This week he's celebrating that 3/4 of a century accomplishment and looking back on his incredible journey. And it is our moment.
Monday gone by, I started my 75th year here. When I started, we were using horses, saws and axes. Today, we're highly mechanized in the woods, also in the mill. Everything has changed. It's unbelievable the change. I can hardly remember how much it changed.
Yeah, he's 89 years old. He started here at Elmsdale Lumber when he was 15, and now he takes great pleasure in mentoring all of the younger supervisors and managers that we have.
Huge mentor to me. I mean, just his mindset on forestry. I think he was, way ahead of his time. And the knowledge and skill sets that he brings to the table, he's more than willing to pass it on and has been very generous in that regard.
My main goal is to leave the forest in better shape than I found it.
So Downey is a member of the Nova Scotia Forestry Hall of Fame. Of course he is, and our producer Jen points out that when Downey was asked why has he worked there so long, he says it's because of the wheels, deals, and dreams of better times, which sounds almost poetic. I should point out, by the way, people in the newsroom were teasing me for being here for almost 75 years. Not quite technically, but when I started, I didn't have saws and horses, but I did use razor blades to edit tape. Anyway, that is the National for March the 5th. I hope you can join me on Sunday for Cross Country Checkup on CBC Radio 1. That begins at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then later that evening back here on the National. Good night.